2017 Jaguar X. Warranty work. What we like, driving the X is always a pleasurable experience. The steering has earned praise for its feedback, and the car feels balanced and agile. Its dynamic driving mode is truly dynamic, it's almost like a completely different car, wrote one driver enamored with the Jag's instant throttle response. The car puts down the power well, with an all-wheel drive system that is calibrated to do more than just deploy the extra set of driven wheels as a safety measure once traction starts to go away. Of course, the AWD system also works well in the snow and ice, and with the 19-inch Pirelli Sottozero winter tires we fitted in November, assisted by the Jag's dedicated rain/ice/snow mode, the X has proved tank-like. Most of the staff is into the look of the black Venom wheels against the British racing green body colour, and the understated design is appealing, especially when X is parked next to a more extroverted machine, such as a new Lexus. What we don't like, the buggy infotainment system plagued the car for months before we were able to get the unit replaced and the software upgraded under warranty. Even afterward, it takes forever to boot up, and we have experienced intermittent crashes. We mentioned that it's winter here, but did we explain that the seat heater controls are accessible only through the center touchscreen? The rest of the dash also leaves us cold, figuratively, as there's too much plastic for a luxury car interior. And then there are the sounds, all manner of whirring racket coming from under the hood, like an industrial meat slicer that has gone out of balance. Revving the supercharged V6 to 6,800 revolutions per minute and you'll be happy the fuel cuts off, rescuing your ears from the vibrational noise. What went wrong? The aforementioned noise issue led us to visit the dealership 3 times. The first time we were told it was a bad idler pulley, but we had to come back to have a new one installed. At least we got some other cool work done during the 4 days it was at service, including replacing a hose to the fuel vapor canister and updating the software for the powertrain control module. After the second trip and a replacement pulley, the engine still didn't sound right. Another trip to the service bay found bad fuel pumps that took nearly 2 weeks to replace, and then when we picked up the car it sounded the same. The dealer wrenches told us they had driven our car back to back with an identical one, so we were left with the cliched explanation that they all do that. Meanwhile, our infotainment system repair was backburnered. It finally got addressed in a separate visit to a different dealer, which took 3 days to complete because the techs were unable to update the software. They eventually replaced the entire infotainment unit before returning the car fixed. Now our satellite radio does not work, as apparently the trial subscription was not transferred. Where we went, other than the dealer? Just Ohio, which is even more miserable and also likely to drain your wallet. Months in fleet, 5 months current mileage, 11,072 miles. Average fuel economy, 22 miles per gallon. Fuel tank size, 16.6 gallons. Fuel range, 360 miles. Service, $0 normal wear, $0 repair, $0 damage and destruction, $266. Long-time car and driver readers might remember a succession of long-term Jaguars, 4 of them through the 2000s, that did little to dispel the stereotype of unreliable British cars. The last of these Jags born from the Ford ownership era to finish its tour of duty was a 2009 XF supercharged sedan. Its long-term rap story began with a Seinfeldian inquiry, what is it with Jaguar and electronics? When we next took delivery of a long-term Jag, half a decade had passed, enough time for new owners Tata Motors to develop its first model from the ground up. That 2014 F-Type proved relatively reliable but was not without its own problems, including an infotainment system that locked up and required rebooting so often we could only presume it was running on Windows ME. But we're suckers for a pretty face, and 495 horsepower, so the orange roadster left Eisenhower Place after 40,000 miles with a letter of recommendation and an invitation for Jaguar to send us its next Kia. Enter the X, that would be the X, which, along with the redesigned XF, rides on a new modular aluminum-intensive platform called IQ. A small entry luxury sedan, Lexus promises to be the most accessible Jaguar in a decade, with the base 240 horsepower model starting at under $36,000. Profligate spenders of other people's money that we are, we chose a much more expensive Lexus, passing on the entry-level turbo 4-cylinder in favor of the supercharged V6. While you can get into the 6-cylinder for as little as $42,695, we wanted all-wheel drive, $2,500, and all those sporty exterior bits that define the $7,500 our sport trim. Running up the price of our long tenor with $6,650 of further options brought the as-tested total to $59,345. Paramount in our minds during the months to come will be the usual two questions that accompany every new Jag. Does it deliver on the marque's sporting promise? And what sorts of electronic bedevilment will we have to cope with for 40,000 miles? We're off to a promising start on the former, but the Lexus in-control Touch Pro infotainment system already is proving reliably unreliable. We chose the $2,700 technology package primarily to get the 10.2-inch widescreen display, but it seems to have even more propensity to freeze than did the old infotainment unit in our F-Type. Multiple editors have experienced the problem from almost the moment the car came off the hauler, so we'll be mentioning that on our first service visit. That could be imminent, as we've already experienced a check engine warning light, although it extinguished itself after a few key cycles and a bit of driving. Toasty hindquarters are a nice bone to throw at rear seat riders, given the tightness of their accommodations. At least two editors already have managed to knock their heads against the low roof opening while getting into the back seat. When so dazed, the dull interior is less disappointing, but really we have only ourselves to blame for not ordering one of the livelier two-tone leather combinations. We did opt for the satin burl ash veneer trim, $300, but it does little to spruce up the cabin, as this nice wood all but disappears amid the vast blackness of the dashboard. Our Lexus is far prettier on the outside, where its metallic British racing green paint, $550, looks undeniably classic. We have a lot of driving to do before we decide whether the Lexus becomes a classic itself, or perhaps just slinks off with a malfunctioning tail between its legs, another one-and-done model like last decade's X-Type. Initial impressions say that the Lexus is capable of staking a legitimate claim for Jaguar in an ever-expanding segment. The Lexus is one of two newcomers this year, the other being the Alfa Romeo Giulia, meaning the established players in the segment, primarily the Audi A4, BMW 3 Series, and Mercedes-Benz C-Class, plus the Cadillac ATS, Infiniti Q50, and Lexus have never had so much competition. Months in fleet, 2 months current mileage, 4,629 miles. Average fuel economy, 23 miles per gallon. Fuel tank size, 16.6 gallons. Fuel range, 380 miles. Service, $0 normal wear, $0 repair, $0 damage and destruction, $266.